Race with Fire Rod and Turtle Rock. I want to see that.
That's a great troll, Fire Rod and Turtle Rock. It looks like our runners are off.
Today you will have bad luck. I think that's actually taken from the wishing well. Oh.
That looks like good luck to me. We get the silver arrows in the very first chest, which of course means that the bow is going to be long gone. It's going to be, you know, a real late item, right?
And maybe. Not necessarily. We'll see, but...
Well, the bow is one of the items that might show up here. No, you got what you wanted.
I win. Blow out the birthday candles for me. It's not my birthday, but...
Blow them out anyway. Oh, that's nice.
That's not fair. I wanted to see pain.
Not today. Well, there's still more opportunities for pain. Opportunities for pain is like a subtitle for Rando. Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past Randomizer, Opportunities for Pain.
And I hope you can find the band-aids, because they're shuffled into the item pool.
Isn't it a Dwarf Fortress that has a randomized subtitle every time you load up the game? Like Legends of Blood and Stone, and it just picks random words? I think Randomizer could make use of that.
It's Discord.
Discord does that too.
Minecraft too, actually. Looks like Glenntai had a little easier time on the blue guard. Catches up to Qairyl.
Grabs one of, I think, 2 green rupees in the item pool.
They are, what, 0.2% of the way to Zora?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh, the sync on picking up that chest.
Yep.
But Glentai's key drop was a little bit closer, so he's still ahead.
Yep. Glenntai is also a little closer to Zora if we're still keeping score on that count. He got a red rupee drop. Normally when you're in escape, you gotta keep track for those bomb drops. But these 2 runners are gonna make it through with all those bombs.
Yeah, usually you have to struggle with the bomb strats to kill the guards, and your reward for doing that is not having to farm bombs, but here it's just the best of both worlds. It's not fair.
Qairyl getting close, gets that ball and chain guard out without taking another hit.
So if you guys are just tuning in and you are new to Link to the Past Randomizer, then where have you been the last couple years? And it's really awesome. So we have our same good old Legend of Zelda Link to the Past that we've been playing for the past 25 years. And somebody decided, hey, let's mix it up a little bit. Shuffled all the major items around and all the little bombs and medallions and canes and whatnot, so that the path that the runners will have to take to gather all the items, collect 7 crystals, and open up Ganon's tower will be random. So they have to adapt to their random gear set on the fly, and I probably don't want to overuse the word random, so just sit back and relax, enjoy the run.
Yep, Randomizer is a lot of fun. If you like Link to the Past, it's great. If you like random stuff, things like roguelike video games, it's great. And we happen to have quite a pleasant community, so take a look and join us.
Join us.
Other than that sword, nothing uneventful really happening here in Escape.
Yeah, the sword can play into progression in a couple of places, especially when they don't have any other weapons right now.
Yep.
But, you know, not one of the most exciting things to find early. Mostly finding an early sword just makes your gameplay a little bit easier. You're not like, all right, now I can go check all these locations.
Qairyl
will
and having some trouble with the final boss of Escape there, yep.
I thought the final boss was the rat that stands by the door that goes in the sanctuary.
The mini-boss, sub-boss then. Glenntai finding the boots in the back of Escape. Qairyl just about to get his boots.
Yeah, good immediate adaptation. Realizes I can use the boots to open the north wall here, save one of my bombs.
Oh yeah, both runners realizing that. Good heads-up gameplay there. And I bet we'll see a Bonk Rocks check right away once we get out of Sanctuary.
All right, and Glenntai wins with a time of 6 minutes and 19 seconds. He wins the Sanctuary race, that is. But, as for... Oh, Moon Pro. As for the run as a whole, that is yet to be seen.
Too soon to call.
So the Moon Pearl is one of the 3 items that the runners will need to have access to the Dark World. So that's a good start. It also will allow them to do a little sequence break later on. And when it comes to it, we will explain what the heck a sequence break actually is and why runners would choose to do it. And in fact, the Moon Pearl combined with the boots could lead to another sequence break, doing a little double fake flipper action. Or double walk on water.
Yeah, that's a really cool trick that I happen to know and have yet to find an opportunity to take advantage of it in a race.
Alright, Glenntai checks the tree pull. That's a tier 3 tree pull. It's just small hearts. Qairyl finding the same, and the crab hoarder just has 10 arrows. Not bad if you're in a pinch, but probably...
I didn't catch that lumberjack check on
I didn't either. I was staring right at it.
On Qairyl's side, it looks like a piece of heart. So on Glenntai's side, it's also a piece of heart. Both runners are, of course, running the same randomized seed.
Yep, double checked. Oh, a little bonk push action. Yeah, the file select screen has a little hash code with fun little item icons. They have absolutely no bearing on the randomness of the seed or what items will be available at what point. It's just a means of runners checking with each other to make sure that they're indeed playing the same game.
Yep, some runners will try and read them like tea leaves, but there's really no consequence to those hash symbols.
Alright, 9 bombs looking good going into Kakariko Village. A little shy on rupees for the bottle vendor, but let's see, they could get 30 in Blind's Hut and what, another 20 in the well? Is it 20 or 25? So
something like that. I think it's 20 at least, yeah.
And they're gonna hope to be up to 100 rupees after these next 2 locations.
We get the Quake Medallion. We get the hammer.
Alright, so the runners only need to find a glove now, and that'll give them immediate access to the Dark World at several points along the Overworld map.
Get the tiny little shield.
We have a map check. We have 2 bad pendants and 1 crystal at Tower of Hera. I say bad pendants because they are not green. The green pendant allows for an extra item location to be opened up at Sahasrahla, the old man by the Eastern Palace.
Yep, with... There's a bee in a bottle.
Oh. Dang, 4 rupees short of that 100 he was looking for. Now he could. Oh, those are hearts, Glenn. Nice try.
We still have a
Jeez.
few more locations to check here. Maybe we'll pick up that
Yeah.
money.
A little bit of indecision. Should I cut down these bushes for some money?
Worst comes to worst, you can dip back into the basement of Blind's hut and those 30 rupees will be there. Qairyl gets the chicken clip, throws the chicken through the wall.
Absolute pure swag. Really, no advantage to doing that. Actually, it actually has the potential to lead to a soft lock, but he just blew his nose in that bottle and gave it back to Glenntai. That was gross.
Yeah, ick. There's the money.
Yeah, what a save.
Bottle vendor with the rip-off today takes 100 rupees, gives 20 back.
Alright, with the boots, they will be able to pick up the item inside the library as well. Without the boots, you can only look on top of the bookshelf. What do you think? You gotta find a ladder or climb up the shelves? Nah, you gotta run into the walls in the library, just like real life.
Glenntai opting to check the race game. Sees a 20 rupee there and skips that. Qairyl doing the same.
Yeah, without a bow, probably gonna head south to the dam and the South Shore Mini Moldorm Cave. Okay. And we will see if he opts to go for the fake flippers. That's the sequence break we mentioned earlier. What he's going to do, if he does it, he's going to trick the game into thinking that he has the flippers. Now, this is a known bug that a lot of runners exploit, and it's perfectly legal in this tournament. But the engine that generates the game and places the items in random spots does not expect the runner to do this. So, if they happen to find an item by tricking the game into thinking they have flippers, then they will know that the game expects them to have flippers to get that item. So if later on they're looking for flippers and say Fire Rod is in one of the water spots, they can say, well, all right, flippers cannot be at any location that's locked behind the Fire Rod because the engine placed the Fire Rod back in the logic.
Glenntai skips the 50 rupees and takes a fish with him. Qairyl gets the 50 rupees and skips the fish.
Yeah, Glenntai, what a guy, saving the fish, taking time out of his day.
We're going to get 5 items checked here in the Mini Moldorm Cave. Then our runners might take a bit of a walk up to Ice Rod Cave. With the boots, it's not too much of a time investment to dash up there. And after that is when they'd be considering that fake flipper play that you just mentioned, Cross.
Yeah, and with the boots, they can actually do a nice setup of it from the Ice Rod Cave.
We just got the Power Glove in the Mini Moldorm Cave, though, so that might change our runners' thought process, considering that they now have full Dark World access.
Yeah, anybody who was holding on to a shred of hope that the optional mini-boss Ganon would be required, it is not your lucky day. I am sorry. Maybe that's what Uncle meant when he said, today you will have bad luck.
Chat has bad luck, doesn't get the trolls they're hoping for.
I got some Quake strats here. Pretty good, low on health, and a lot of these crabs move around erratically. It's a little tough to discern and dodge, so...
So Glenntai is making the Ice Rod Cave check, whereas Qairyl is heading straight into the Dark World here at the cave that we call Hype. It doesn't turn out to be Hype all that often nowadays.
Now, I wonder if he will, continue with the Dark World circuit and head up to Pyramid and Catfish, or... Okay, there's Lamp.
Ice Rod Cave ended up being just 10 arrows, so Qairyl getting nothing but the Lamp here in Hype Cave, but Lamp is moderate hype.
Lamp is pretty good, and without a fire rod yet, the lamp could play into the logic. Well, the lamp always plays into the logic because it lights up the dark rooms. But even outside of that, if they need a fire source, then it could actually be required. So Glenntai does the fake flippers, tricks the game into thinking he's got flippers when he doesn't. He's gonna swim to Link's friend under the bridge, and whatever item he finds here, this is an item that the game does not expect him to get yet. So let's see if that gives him an edge.
Qairyl opted to head to the west and got the 20 rupees it looked like from Stumpy. And now, starting at Sanctuary, I reckon this is a play of Death Mountain.
Yeah, with the glove and the lamp, that will open up the third spawn point once he saves the old man from the Dead Mountain Caves. And Glenntai trying to set up the fake flippers escape from Hobo here.
He manages to pull it off. This will let him head back. I don't think Glenntai swung around the Lake Hylia Island, so I don't know if we might see that on the return trip.
Yeah, he's probably going to go take a look at it on his way to the Waterfall Cave.
Cross mentioned earlier that if you have the Moon Pearl, you can do the sequence break, and the reason for that is that there are 2 chests in the Waterfall of Wishing, and without the flippers, you need to engage a water walk to get those chests, and the game, in its infinite wisdom, uses the presence of the Moon Pearl in your inventory to determine whether or not it should reset your state to walking when you enter and exit the cave. So you'll see Glenntai enter the cave, head back out, head back in, and then check 2 chests.
Meanwhile, Qairyl is going to be checking 2 spots here. One that he will be able to pick up, and one that he will need to come back for with Mire.
Glenntai didn't get any progression items in that waterfall check. Glenntai could have walked out and checked the item on the Zora ledge, which is technically accessible at this point if you do a tricky water walk, but that's a glitch that not a lot of people do, and so we're not going to see the check anyway.
Oh, that's the Titan's Mitts on top of Spectacle Rock once again. They're going to need Mire before they pick that item up.
Yep, that's some really good info. Qairyl knows at this point that there's nothing else he can do on Death Mountain. If he had the Mire, he could get those mitts and then continue to Tower of Error. If he had the hookshot, he could go to the east side, but he now has that info, and info is really important in Randomizer.
So Glenntai going to Sahasrara's cave. Opts not to head into Eastern Palace without the lamp or bow. And one thing, so Qairyl looks like he's going to head into Village of Outcasts. One thing that he could do right now, especially with the lamp, might consider it, is go into Palace of Darkness. Now, there is a recent sequence break that some people have found where you can use a potion to get through the areas of the dungeon where you would normally need a bow. So once again, that would be a sequence break. Now the drawback to this is they would not be able to clear the dungeon fully and kill the boss. Oh, Qairyl thought he was going to bonk into that tree for a full magic refill, but
we see the green pendant is at Pod, and the 2 red crystals are at Ice Palace and Skull Woods.
yeah.
Hey, Glenntai, do you see what, Cross, you see what Glenntai just did?
Yeah, he talked to me. Hello there. I missed the joke, though.
Yeah, we were distracted by that map check. Cross mentioned earlier that if you get the green pendant, which is in this seed on Palace of Darkness, you can bring it to Sahasrara for an item. If you get the 2 red crystals, which here are in Ice Palace and Skull Woods, you can get the big bomb from the Pyramid Fairy, and you can get the big bomb from the bomb shop and blow open a hole to the Pyramid Fairy. And while I've been prattling on, Qairyl picked up the Bombos medallion from the chest game.
Yeah, and shout outs to Reg for picking that up and watching the stream rather than listen to us blather on. Me blather on, you dispense useful wisdom. But anyway, shout outs to our tracker, Reg, who is operating the little scoreboards you see underneath the racer streams. Without him, we would be lost.
Well, more lost than we already are. When you play Rando, you're always a little bit lost as a rule.
So now Glenntai has yet to check Hype Cave. He may try to route that in with a Froggy World tour, which you will not actually be able to do just now because you need Titan's Mitts, and we know where that is.
Qairyl heading into Thieves Town. I'm sure Glenntai will be in there not very long from now.
Yeah, he wants to clean up the overworld a little bit first. Maybe look for something that will help him out against the boss of the dungeon. Blue
Qairyl
cane,
just grabbed...
cape, sword upgrade.
Yep, Qairyl just grabbed the ice rod from inside of Thieves Town.
Yeah, that's one item that can oftentimes cause headaches for runners later on in a run, since the only thing that Ice Rod is required for is killing the boss of Turtle Rock. That means it can be almost anywhere in the game, and when you're coming down to it and deciding whether or not to go into that dungeon, and you don't have the Ice Rod, you usually have to make a decision whether to go in there and hope that it's in the dungeon, or continue looking for it. But these runners will not have to worry about that today. And that is our third clue with the Ether Medallion.
Yep, another thing our runners won't have to worry about there is finding medallions to get into Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. Qairyl takes a death there. Not the biggest time lost dying here in the early part of Thieves Town.
Yeah, I only sent him back about 2 rooms. So the medallions required to open up Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are also randomized. Doesn't matter right now because they've got all 3.
And another thing that if you're new to Randomizer you might want to pay attention to is with the presence of the Bombos medallion, that substitutes for Fire Rod when it comes to getting into Ice Palace. But that won't matter until we actually find the flippers and the mirror to get those Titan's Mitts.
Yeah, and logically would also require the flippers, but practically these runners don't care. But since they need the flippers for Swamp Palace anyway, that's going to be one fewer location that they have to worry about finding stuff until they get the flippers. And Qairyl's going to have to be careful with his health again here.
Yep, this is a dangerous stretch of Thieves Town. What we call the Hellway with all of the nasty Patrick Starfish, Anti-Fairy, Fire Snake. And these, they look like crickets to me. Oh, the one that both of our runners death sync.
Ah, synced up.
Those crickets... Yeah, go ahead.
I always thought that the brown blobby guys look kind of like Count Chocula marshmallows. Not the bat-shaped ones, but like the blob-shaped Count Chocula marshmallows.
Perhaps. Oh, Qairyl taking another death. We're still on green mail and 6 hearts on Qairyl's side, and let me see. Do I know how to count? Is that 8 on Glentai's side? So here in the Dark World, that's not a lot of health pool to be working with.
Yeah, and also one of the difficulties is that fighter sword. The game would expect you to have at least Master Sword in the original or vanilla game as we call it. And aside from doing more damage, the Master Sword also has a longer reach.
One place in this dungeon that fighter sword isn't actually a liability is on the boss, because if an item will damage blind the thief, it will do the same damage no matter what. Fighter sword, Master Sword, Tempered Sword, Gold Sword, Hammer, both canes, they all do the same amount of damage to blind. Both of our runners are having a bit of a hard time here, taking a few deaths.
Yeah, this place is just beating them up. They do still have an item or 2 to find in here. I would say, you know, if I wasn't still looking for an item in here, because each dungeon has a limited number of items that can exist, I'd say just come back later when you're better equipped to deal with it, but they want to find that progression, so they're going to stick to it.
Qairyl takes another death. Fortunately, he got the floor bombed open before he died. That will stay open.
Yeah, that's going to save him from having to backtrack through 3 or 4 rooms to get back up to the attic. Looks like Glenntai still has to make it up there. I'm seeing a lot of vanilla 3 bomb chests. There was one in the dam. I think might have been another one, but yeah. This one up here in the Thieves Town attic. Vanilla 3 bombs.
Well, you were hoping for bombs, Cross. You're getting your bombs.
I blew it. Should have wished for something better. He wants that so bad.
Yeah.
Even just having some magic to use one of his medallions would be a godsend in this situation.
Yep, Qairyl taking your advice and bailing out of Thieves Town.
Yeah, not... no, no gold glove.
Ooh, that's a rough death in the Overworld. He'll have to respawn back in the light world and come back.
Yeah, he's calculating what he wants to do next. He doesn't necessarily want to go back to the same spot, so this could actually, be fortunate and push him into the right direction. It looks like he might be doing that pyramid catfish check or simply going to Sahasrara and Eastern Palace. Okay, he's hitting the Dark World portal, so could be doing pyramid catfish and then head into Palace of Darkness.
Glenntai deeper into Thieves Town, showing off the use of the hammer as a weapon. The hammer does tempered sword damage, so it's got kind of a poor hitbox, but if you can connect, it'll kill most of these enemies in one hit.
Yeah, you trade a little bit of finesse for a lot of power, so it's good and bad. Qairyl showing off a hammer dash there, so he's going to go straight into pod, not even worry about the overworld items nearby. Now, I highly suspect if he's going into pod right now with Eastern still open, with a bunch of overworld spots left open, I think he's planning on doing himself a bottle glitch and skipping the necessity for that bow. Now, the very nice thing about this is he will be able to get every single item in that dungeon unless there is one dropped by Helmasaur King. And the upside to that is the fact that this dungeon is a pendant, so he won't necessarily have to kill Helmasaur King anyway. He can get everything else in this dungeon.
Meanwhile, Glenntai is in the blind fight. He's what we call off script. If you do the same thing every time, battle goes the same way every time. It does not go like that, however. Glenntai taking an unfortunate death. I imagine
Usually goes like that for me.
Glentai's going to try again, which you have the difficulty of the battle already being started, so you kind of have to work your way up to the top of the room while Blind's already there and shooting at you. But if you practice the fight and you get your mechanics down, the battle will go the same way every time. You poke Blind in the head a total of 9 times, and he goes down.
I missed a couple of hearts that he could have picked up for safety against the boss. We'll see if he needs them. Maybe he's thinking he's got this. Maybe he's, funnily enough, maybe he's more practiced at the refight as opposed to the one where you start off with the free hit. If he is going off a script.
Takes another death. Right about now is probably when I'd bail out and decide to come back later. Yep.
Yeah, since he died inside of a dungeon, he just will warp to the entrance, and he's going to check a couple overworld spots here. Has yet to check Old Stumpy and Hype Cave, actually. And he can also check the digging game, which Qairyl opted not to do his first time through.
Qairyl headed on the way to the Bolok side, but did not actually pull off that potion glitch that we mentioned earlier. Headed into the room, thought about it for half a second, and turned around. But we do know the dungeon isn't bow-locked, since there was a key in the first chest.
That actually depends. If the big key chest has a key in it, then it is not bow-locked. However, if the big key chest has an item in it, you would use a key and then not replace it. So it would then, again, become bow-locked.
Yes.
But Qairyl's playing for get as many items as I can, not worry about whether or not I was supposed to have bow.
Glenntai tried to spell out hi to us, but ended up not grabbing the item. You need to be able to pull off 30 digs in 30 seconds to guarantee the item. And Glenntai went for a bit of swag and lost that opportunity.
Yeah, it's a fixed number that is determined when the game is generated, but there's no way to know it until you get here.
Meanwhile, Qairyl got the flippers in the U-shaped room in the basement of Pod.
Okay, so that is only Titan's Mitt away from Ice Palace, or only Mire away from entering Swamp. Swamp would also require Hookshot to clear. Actually, according to the logic engine, Ice Palace would also require either Hookshot or Red Cane.
Yep, and we won't know that unless somebody heads into Ice and we can see where the keys are laid out.
So it looks like there are going to be 2 keys on the Bowlock side of Pod, which means that there could be an item at the big key chest, depending on where map and compass are. So that's a little bit of get as much as I can rather than be thorough, and both are valid strategies, to be honest. You know, get as many items as I can as fast as I can versus let me pick up everything that's in the vicinity of where I am right now.
Yep. Glenntai picks up his lamp from Hype Cave and saves and quits. We'll have to see where he heads next. Heading to Sanctuary, so this could be back into the Dark World, or it could be Death Mountain.
So Qairyl will be checking the locations that Glenntai already found with the sequence break, but he will also add to that 2 items in Zora's domain.
That was the blue mail on the Lake Hylia Island. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention. I mentioned earlier that Glenntai might check it, but then I forgot to pay attention to see whether or not he did.
I believe that he did, but I wonder if he'll go back for it. It depends maybe on how much life he has toward the end of the game.
Yep, and that's another item that's locked by the mirror. You need to have the mirror and the flippers to get there.
And Glenntai wants to consume a red potion or a green potion to buy a red potion here, which puts him short of Zora money now. But if he's planning on going in the pod, then he can pick up the items he can pick up the blue rupees in Dark Basement.
Yep. I wonder if that red potion portends a rematch with Blind.
Oh yeah. I think you're right, as he is heading to that portal north of Kakariko Village.
It's a lengthy investment, both in time and money in this case, to get back there, but I'm not sure if Blind has an item. I think he does.
Alright, Qairyl is about to head into Zora's domain here, and we'll get a fresh look at 2 new items.
Just a red rupee on the ledge. Now we gotta see what the rip-off fish has himself.
Come on, Tickle Beam for sale.
Not quite.
Not gonna turn that down by any means. So that leaves Pyramid and Catfish and Eastern Palace.
Yep. And we've got the beloved by all runners location, Agina's Cave, that's been available since the beginning.
Oh, I always forget about that guy. A lot of runners will try to route him in with Desert Palace or checking the Bombos tablet. But he could hold the key to unlocking this seed.
What was that about the tickle beam?
Oh, so Glentai's persistence in clearing out this dungeon pays off. I imagine he's going to go up to Death Mountain now, and he'll be able to get everything on the Light World side, except that Gold Glove. But if he does get that, he'll be able to get everything on the Dark World side. He's looking for a Mire in that case.
Yep. So, in this case, the time and money that Glenntai invested into Blind absolutely pays off.
Yeah, so basically, if Glenntai finds a Mire on the east side of Death Mountain, that opens up, that gets him Titan's Mitt, so he can clear Dark Side Death Mountain. It gets him into Swamp Palace, so he can full clear that since he just got the hook shot. So this could be the play of the game, depending on what we see on that Dark World, or the east side of Death Mountain here. But in the meantime, Qairyl is scoping out Eastern Palace for us. There are 3 unique items here, and we've not seen any of them yet.
And with the big key in the first chest, we still haven't seen any of them yet.
Mm-hmm. So each dungeon has a set number of unique items, or anything that's not a map, compass, or key. And Eastern Palace has 3 such items.
And that 5-hour upgrade does count as one of our 3 unique items, though it's not a particularly exciting one. Glentai's showing off a glitch called Spin Speed there. You see him racing up the side of the mountain. If you use the hook shot and the boots exactly at the same time while you're on the stairs, you can activate that glitch. It also works if you charge a spin attack and dash with the boots 1 frame after releasing the spin, but if you have the hook shot, that's by far the simpler way to carry it out.
Wait a second. Did you just say that you don't like increasing your arrow capacity? Every time I increase my arrow capacity, I quiver with excitement.
Yay, great. That's pretty good. I gotta give you some credit for that. So Glenntai is on the verge of checking 7 chests here in Death Mountain. Gets the fire shield, which would have been helpful on that blind fight.
Yeah, get used to that when you play Randomizer. I could have used this 5 minutes ago. Well, another quiver upgrade for Qairyl. And there is said Mire.
And blue mail, for good measure.
Yellow face.
Glenntai sets up a bomb jump and then immediately takes a tumble into the pit.
Yeah, this is one of the simpler bomb jumps to set up. That doesn't mean that you should try it at home, but unless you really want to fall down that pit. But anyway, as long as you stand pretty close to that corner and face to the right and put your bomb down, you're good to go. And Qairyl looks like he's checking Ice Rod Cave?
Yeah, Qairyl skipped that, and Glenntai did not. Glenntai already checked it. So Ice Rod Cave, we know, is, it's not great. I forget what it was, but it was garbage.
So Glenntai immediately wants to go cash in on that Titan's Mitt. Did he pick up the... Okay, there he goes. wait.
He's checking the item, I think?
Okay, the floating island just has a blue rupee. And he does indeed go into Spiral Cave here. Okay. And he may as well save and quit and go back to the spawn point on the mountain after Spiral Cave, I think.
Yep. Grab the mitts, and then on the way up, he can go to Tower of Hera. That's a crystal dungeon that he can fully clear. Or you could head straight into the Dark World and check the Dark World. There's a lot of routing options just here on Death Mountain that Glenntai has available.
Yeah, and as chat's pointing out, killing blind and grabbing the hook shot seems to be the only way forward, since Mire is up on Death Mountain and Titan's Moon's blocked by Mire.
Where did Qairyl get the mushroom? Is that in Pod?
Maybe.
I didn't notice that when it happened. I'm sure chat will fill us in once they hear us chatting about it.
Yeah, he's got a couple of spots still, a couple items in Skull Woods. Now, if they do find Bow, that could put another necessary item like Fire Rod or Cane of Samaria back in Pod.
Mushroom was indeed in Pod. Thanks, Reg.
Alright, we've got a Gina. That's another new spot here for Qairyl. Not going to check out the Desert Ledge just yet. Won't be able to pick it up until he finds Book or a bunch of other stuff to compensate for no Book. Flute,
Yep,
Titans, Mirror.
Yep. We know the flute is out there somewhere because Misery Mire is a crystal. Qairyl heading back into the Dark World, so I imagine that's where Qairyl headed. So, could be looking for a rematch with Blind, which would work out quite well for him. Could be heading to Skull Woods.
Glenntai using the non-boot setup for the bomb jump here. Gets it first try, which is really nice because it's quite a setback if you knock yourself into that hole.
Yep, you fall in that hole, you go down 2 floors. But that means both items in Hera. Hera has 2 unique items. Were there in that, I think it was a piece of heart and 20 rupees. So that means that Glenntai will not have to head to the annoying basement tile room.
Yeah, you won't get a bathroom bake while waiting for the tiles to blow out.
Chat's pointing out that Glenntai had the hookshot to get to that chest. Maybe he just wants to practice a bomb jump.
Yeah, these runners just want to show off, showcase what they can do. So if you can do a more impressive strat, I say go for it. Three hammer hits for the burger worm here. Glenntai just takes down Moldorm. Already knows that he's not going to need that key. So
Glenntai picks up his second crystal and extends his crystal lead to 2-0.
yeah, I think Swamp Palace is the play right now with 6 unique items and a necessary crystal dungeon. It's a pretty lucrative spot.
Yep.
I love that Gibdo in the pinball room on Qairyl's side. Just wants to walk into that bumper.
Oop. Qairyl takes a death. Terminal hilarity. Just laughed too hard at that Gibdo.
It's like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Glenntai, with those Titans mitts, heading to Dark Death Mountain. We've got 2 items in Super Bunny Cave, 4 items in Hookshot Cave, and we don't have, by logic, access to the Spike Cave yet.
That's right. I don't think Glenntai actually used his red potion on blind, so maybe he'll be able to
I
pull
think
it off.
I think he used his potion for the very last bit before he killed him. I don't think he has the red anymore.
Whoops.
Qairyl and this Gibdo are having a bit of a thing.
Now, another thing runners might do in Glentai's situation would be check the medallion requirement for Turtle Rock, but there's no need to do it anymore.
Yep. Glenntai picks up the big, huge riot shield here in Super Bunny Cave. If you're unfamiliar, it's called Super Bunny Cave because there is a glitch called the Super Bunny Glitch that lets you, if you're in the bunny state, if you get here without the Moon Pearl, you fall through a hole on the floor and you become Super Bunny, and that lets you open chests, so those 2 items are accessible to you. It's not considered a in-logic play, but it's certainly available to you if you get the Titan's mitts early.
Alright, these will be the final 4 items on this Death Mountain excursion. Might have to come back later and spelunk again, but not till he finds the a cape or a can of burner, maybe. Oops, you missed one, Glenn. He saw it. Okay. Oh, good thing you went back for those red rupees.
Those are essential red rupees. You gotta pay the extortionist when you get to Pod.
Huh. If he even ends up doing Pod.
Well, he'll have to. The flippers are in there. You definitely need those.
If he, yeah. So is he gonna take a crack? He just picked up a fairy in a bottle.
That's true. You do get a ton of invincibility frames when the fairy revives you.
Plus he has hookshot. He might just have this.
So this cave is currently considered a sequence break because the game expects you to have an invincibility item, either the Cane of Burna or the Magic Cape. And if you have the cape, the game expects you to have some way of extending your magic, half magic or a bottle, something like that. But I think Glenntai has this.
Yeah, the sequence break isn't going to give him any extra intelligence here. But it is a sword upgrade, so that's really sweet. That's a very good payoff.
Yeah, if you're going to sequence break, something like a sword upgrade is a great thing to find, because it really doesn't throw off your routing, your logic so much, but it just improves your offensive capability. So that's a great thing to sequence break.
Yeah, and he's immediately going to check King's Tomb east of the Sanctuary here. One of the benefits of sequence breaking is that it helps you narrow down specific items. Really, what it does, it helps you narrow down the location of whatever item you were supposed to have to get there. And since said item is blue cane or cape, it's not really going to matter. Unless the Cape Cave has something, but didn't we see that? Maybe not.
I don't know if we saw the bumper cave yet. I don't think so.
So I guess Glenn is going to check out that bumper cave. Maybe he has the sequence break on his mind, or he just wants to loot the front half of Skull Woods. Won't be able to clear the back half without a fire rod, but he can still get some work done here.
Yep, and Qairyl is on the way to that rematch with Blind the Thief. This is, as far as we know, Qairyl's next step in progression.
Yeah, it pretty much has to be, since the Gold Glove is locked behind Mire, and Mire is locked behind Hookshot. There's no other way to get to that spot where the Mire is, since without Hookshot you would need Mire to get to it.
whereas Glenntai needs to pick up the flippers from Pod.
True. So all that stuff I said earlier about going into Swamp Palace, that explains why he's not doing what I told him. Because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I think you know more than what you're talking about. The only reason you suggested that is because you and I have the knowledge from both sides of the screen here.
That's true. Glenntai, go into Pod. Go straight to the chest that the flippers are in. Don't even stop to pick up any keys.
The flippers are in the basement room, the U-shaped room.
Ah, the treasury. Which he won't need to go to for treasure since he just picked up a 300.
Glenntai showing off some more bomb jumps.
So, he did a strat with the boots, which broadens the window of your Y pixel where you have to stand for the bomb jump. Now, he actually dashed it a little too early, and the boot strat didn't come into play. He just happened to be lined up right to begin with.
Yep. Without the boots, you need to be there's a 2-pixel window, and if you dash and land on the bomb just as it explodes, you get a 6-pixel window. I don't think Qairyl checked this chest in the back of Skullwoods. It's a bit of a pain to get to, especially without the Cane of Samaria.
Oh my gosh, that frog pulling the... Whoops. I'm gonna carry you 5 feet this way. And respawn my jellyfish friends.
Glenntai takes his vengeance using bombos. For those of you keeping score at home, Ether would have been a better call since it's a quicker animation, but sometimes you just need to watch the world burn.
I'm gonna say that Ether would freeze the Gibdos, causing too much lag, so it evens out. But I could be wrong. So finds the second item, not any kind of progression, but he can write off Skullwoods until he finds the Fire Rod. And since it has one of the tougher bosses in the game, he's all too happy to do so.
Yep. Though I think it's more accurate to say that it has one of the more horribly programmed bosses in the game.
Yeah, in fact, the Randomizer developers had to fix the programming on that boss in order for players not to get locked against him if they have Butter Sword.
Yep, in the vanilla Japanese 1.0 version, if you have the Butter Sword, you can't slash Mothula. If you manage to get the Butter Sword, you have to poke him to reduce your damage. In Randomizer, if you have the Butter Sword, the game pretends that you have the Tempered Sword for that.
Yeah, and it's not that hard to actually get Butter Sword and fight that boss in vanilla. I mean, if you go into Skull Woods and you find Fire Rod and you have a tough time against the boss and you piece on out of there, then you come back later, you could have Butter Sword and you could be like, well, what do I do now? You could poke him.
Glenntai is setting up fake flippers again, which means he could be heading to Zora, or he could be sequence breaking his way into Ice Palace.
Yeah, it could be either. I don't know. Could go either way. Ice Palace could hold the Red Cane or the Bow or the Fire Rod, so it wouldn't be a bad play.
But we're heading into the Warp, so Glenntai didn't head up to Zora at all, but he has the money now. Not going to get anything really useful here.
Yep, just gonna get started on row 2 of his on his lifeline. Start lifeline 2.
Yep, both of our runners with blue mail at this point. Qairyl just picking that up along with his mirror.
But Glenntai has a sword to match.
Gotta be coordinated. Fashion randomizer.
If the fashion's randomized, then it's not coordinated.
Think, Dorm.
Glenntai not only has a sword to match his shirt, he also has a shield to match his face.
So Glenntai on the way to the east here. Could be heading into pod to get those flippers real soon.
Yeah, he could combine pod with Eastern in one trip since he's got the Mire. I think that's what he's going for.
Yeah, he was going to head up to Eastern the normal way and then realized, oh.
Well, this isn't too bad either. You just have to run back down that right side. Unless he decides to do something different instead. I don't know. Did we get a look at what the stun prize was yet?
I don't think so. I haven't been paying attention.
So the drops that the enemies leave behind after you kill them are also randomized. In vanilla, if you freeze an enemy with, say, hook shot or boomerang, and then you kill them, they will always drop a green rupee. In randomizer, the seed will pick one item, could be green rupee, red rupee, bomb, fairy. It'll pick that one item, and it'll be a consistent drop, so they always know where to look for that if they know what the stun prize is.
So Qairyl is not going for the bomb jump. Qairyl is going for the more usual strat of hook-shotting and then bonking across. Or gonna bonk across eventually? Nope, not gonna bonk across.
Still faster than the intended strat of going up to the top floor and falling down.
Yep. Just provided you don't fall into that hole there, which Qairyl almost did.
Do you think Shigeru Miyamoto plays Randomizer?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Alright, well, while these runners are finishing up their respective dungeons and tracing each other's steps, why don't you trace some steps on over to their channels and hit the follow button. I think we've got a chat command right here. Go ahead and follow the runners. These guys are putting themselves on the line, doing all the work. Make sure that you guys have some entertainment today. Show them some love back.
Shigeru Miyamoto sounds like the sort of guy who'd appreciate Randomizer.
Yeah, isn't there a... Maybe Breath of the Wild will have a rando DLC.
I'd play that. I bet it's Nintendo lawyers who might not like the Randomizer so much, but we do a pretty good job keeping Randomizer legally clean.
Glenntai unable to progress without the bow. Has to make another routing decision here.
Take a bit of a long dash to get back to pod, I imagine.
Yeah, he's probably thinking, I knew I should have gone in the pod first and used the Mire.
So yeah, based on what we know from the runners on both sides, I'm thinking Ice and Swamp are the candidates for next play. Yeah.
Yep.
But we still need quite a bit for Go Mode. We still need the bow, we still need the fire rod, we need the Cane of Samaria, we need the flute.
Wow.
We have a question about how we escaped legal problems with the randomizer. Well, if you check out the randomizer website never provides you with Nintendo code. It only lets you upload a ROM that you have of your own and patches it and sends you the patch. So actually, you don't even upload the ROM. You just ask for a patch and you get a patch. So we don't. The randomizer website never distributes any Nintendo intellectual property. Or at least that's what the devs say. I trust them when it comes to this. I know what they're doing. I know they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'd say the devs, along with Speed Gaming staff. Alright, we'll see if Qairyl decides to go grab a Master Sword here. Glenntai has gone into pod. Let's see if he uses his small key on the big key chest, or if he also decides to go to the back. Now, if he does go to the big key chest, that's going to mean he's locked out unless he knows his bottle glitch. Which, interesting... Technically, the flipper's locked behind Bo. So, where could the Bo be?
That's a good
If
question.
Qairyl counted his keys and he knows that there's a potential of flippers being locked behind Bo, that can really, and Glenntai has the opportunity to do the same. If they really understand how to read their seed logic, they can determine that Bo cannot be locked behind flippers, so it cannot be in Ice Palace, cannot be in Swamp Palace.
Where could that leave the Bow then? We have access to the. Yeah, I think our tracker Reg makes a good point in that we don't know if the vanilla big key location is a small key or not.
We do, though. As Qairyl left, he had looted every possible chest that he could, and he was left without a key.
Okay. No, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Pod logic is hard. Well, we got the Titansmiths, and we haven't done the blacksmith sequence or the purple chest or the hammer pegs. Those are possible locations.
Yeah, and those are three that they can check reasonably close to each other. I'd still say, with so many items left to be found, a full clear of Ice Palace and a full clear of Swamp Palace are warranted. I think he wanted that shirt.
Yeah.
Went skinny dipping. Whoops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's harsh. But that would be a kind of a nice play. You can go ahead and grab that red mail and pop right into Ice Palace with it. If, yeah, he did get the Titansmith. The items in pod cannot be distributed in such a way that it's not completable. Oh, I see what you're saying. It could be one key on the bow side and one key at the big key chest. That's true. Okay, I'm corrected. Thanks to our tracker, Reg.
Trackers do a lot more than just click buttons and track items.
No, wait, then
trackers
it's
keep
still...
us...
Oh.
Well, I'm sure we'll see sooner or later. Qairyl going back for that red mail. There it is. Oh no! Glenntai takes a death on his way to the pyramid item.
Yeah, it could be a key at the big key chest and one on the bow locked side. I guess that's true. Now, if they had done a potion glitch and found two keys on the bow locked side, that would be useful information. Also, if you were counting the keys as they pick them up, that's helpful as well.
Qairyl on the way to Swamp Palace, and Glenntai heading back to the pyramid. So we're going to see some new stuff on both screens very shortly.
Now, I wonder if Glenntai feels behind? Or maybe he just wants to be thorough.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he takes the long jog up to Catfish here. This is logically the time you'd want to do it. You never really get in this part of the world. We are going to see Catfish here. And since he has the Mire, he can combo this in with a mushroom check.
And also a potion buy.
Yep.
Maybe this was his plan all along. He wanted to buy potions. So he's heading this way and picking up the items on the way.
Yep. First item in Swamp is a piece of heart. Swamp has the most unique items of any dungeon. It has 6, but it is also quite a time-consuming dungeon to head through. Glenntai going to get his single arrow from the potion shop. Or he's going to see his single arrow and elect to leave it behind in disgrace. Or not! He's going to slash at it and then pick it up and take it with him.
Oh, just some heart piece.
Heart piece from the Catfish. Qairyl gets the big key in Swamp and gets the compass from the big chest.
And looks like with potions in hand, Glenntai is going to head in the Swamp Palace. I don't think the cave south of the Grove has been checked yet. I think both runners were in that area talking to old Stumpy before they had the Mire.
Yes, I think that's right. So as far as mirror locations are concerned, the cave south of the Grove, as well as the Graveyard Ledge. Qairyl, your sword's not long enough. That's one of the drawbacks of having the fighter sword at this dungeon. It's just not long enough to reach over to get that switch.
Yeah, and funnily enough, Qairyl has stated in his interview that he did not want to see a boomerang anywhere. Well, careful what you wish for, because boomerang is one of the best items to have to hit that crystal.
So with so many items remaining for go mode, Qairyl is opting to do the left side of Swamp right now, which is the common call in this scenario.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is have a big key be on this side and still an item left behind in the big chest. What you are really hoping for if you skip the West Wing is for both map and compass to be on this side.
So our runners have pretty much synced up. I think other than that Master Sword, there's little difference between what our runners have available to them. I suppose in the red mail that Qairyl went out of his way to pick up. Qairyl on the way to the back of Swamp, while Glenn is on the way to the south part of Swamp.
Yeah, he's hoping to find some items in Swamp, hoping it won't turn up dry. Oh, there was the big key after all. It was before the West Wing. Huh.
Yeah, the big key was early, and there's just a compass here in the big chest. Still nothing of value in Swamp.
One chest and one drop left remaining.
Qairyl gonna have to take out Argus with the fighter sword, which will not be an enjoyable fight.
Get ready for the menu boss.
Qairyl picks up the cape, which I don't think we've seen the bumper cave. So that could be something.
No, but it does put Glenntai's Master Sword in logic at the very least.
I'm sure Glenntai is going to be overjoyed to learn that his sword is in logic. But you see right there that that Master Sword helps out Glenntai a bit. Saves a couple of frames from having to bomb that switch.
So you can do one of two things if you have Master Sword while fighting Argus here. You can use the hook shot and switch to the hammer to pound on the puff, or you can do a spin attack against each puff. It'll take 2 hits per puff, but if you manage to get a double hit in, then you are good to go. I don't know which is faster. Hammer seems to be faster than charging a sword, and certainly safer. You have more time to react to Argus moving across the arena there.
We see that Qairyl has all of the dungeon items, so at the end of this rather lengthy battle, we know Argus is going to drop something of significance. Or at least something. Qairyl could try and hit Argus with the hammer or the ice rod here. That would do more damage than fighter sword spins. You know, with that Master Sword, Glenntai is going to save quite a bit of time on this fight.
Yeah, would help him catch up if he even is behind. It's hard to tell right now. I think that a lot of his overworld checks kind of allowed Qairyl to pick up some lost ground there.
Argus dropped nothing more than 3 blueberries, pack of 3 bombs. So, other than that cape, no indication of progression in Swamp.
So Ice Palace is looking pretty hot right now, ironically. But Qairyl is first going to check those remaining Village of Outcasts overworld checks. Taking Jeremiah the Bullfrog home.
Yep.
Turning Gary's lunchbox in, and doing the Hammer Peg Caves.
Yep. Might see him lug the chest or the frog up to the graveyard cave or the cave below the grove. So you see Glenntai, no menu strats here. It's just 2 slashes on each puff.
Yeah, he's gonna pick up some of that time back on the Argus fight, and if Qairyl ends up checking Pyramid Catfish, then Glenntai will again be in the lead. Unless Qairyl finds something of value from Jeremiah here. Or the lunchbox. And so Glenntai opts to use the hammer, which is a little bit funny because his sword spins would be equivalent to a hammer hit.
Yep. Meanwhile, the blacksmiths today are actually running a library service.
Yeah, I thought that was an anvil, not a printing press.
So with the book, Qairyl has access to both tablets and has entrance into Desert Palace.
I also didn't realize that the blacksmiths were still in school. That would explain why they're hitting the books.
Yeah. Qairyl is taking the lunchbox on a tour here. This is a pretty decent routing place to find that book because you can check the lunchbox and the Bombos tablet back to back. But
Yeah.
if there is something interesting on the Bombos tablet, Qairyl can't get it because you need the Master Sword to grab whatever's on that tablet.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pedestal check. You can see it, but you can't get it. And Glenntai does pick up his red mail, which is right on his way over to Ice Palace, so really clever overworld pathing from him over here. We'll have to go through that lengthy Bombos animation again just to get past the first room.
Yep, it is entirely possible for Fire Rod or another one of our required Go Mode items to be here in Ice. Ice having 3 unique items from the pool.
Yep, and it's considered full clearable since they have the hook shot. And hammer, of course.
Well,
speaking of Fire Rod...
There it is, the Fire Rod locked inside the purple lunchbox.
Yeah, looks like Gary had a spicy Slim Jim for lunch.
That Fire Rod, though, doesn't give us any progression that we didn't have before, since we already have both items from Skull Woods, and Turtle Rock is still not accessible to us, and we already had access to Ice Palace, obviously.
Yep. If they do find the red cane pretty soon, then that would do it for Turtle Rock. Now, Desert Palace is completable here.
Yeah, I'm curious. Qairyl is not opting to continue his trek to the southwest and head into Desert Palace. There's 2 items in Desert Palace, plus the Desert Ledge is accessible with that desert access.
You know, he realizes he did not yet check the digging game.
Yeah, that's one of those things when you realize it, you kind of want to go back to before you forget it, but on the other hand, this is a one-off check compared to 3 items in Desert.
Yeah, I don't think either runner has even looked to see what item was on the Legend Desert. That could even be the red cane.
And we know the flute has to be out there somewhere, the bow has to be out there.
Well, we don't know how many small keys ended up in Pod, but it did turn out that the bow was not in Swamp Palace.
Chat's making a good point that the Fire Rod is a little bit of progression, since if we can clear Skull Woods and Ice Palace, then we have the Pyramid Fairy accessible to us. I have to imagine, since Qairyl is heading back to the north, that he's on the way to the cave, the graveyard ledge.
Okay.
And probably a
Or
bumper cave check.
Skullwoods.
Or
Maybe-
yeah, this is a decent amount of stuff that Qairyl can check in the north here.
Yeah, no items in Skullwood, but as chat points out, it is one of our red crystals, so that will be half of what they need to buy the orange bomb and make their way to Pyramid Fairy. Oh, and the all-important ped check.
Absolutely. Pedestal could be the Cane of Samaria or the flute. Can't be the bow.
Yeah. And Bo could actually be in Ganon's tower as well.
Yep, our tracker reg pointing that out to us.
So this is where one of those sequence breaks would have paid off in giving extra knowledge. If they do find 2 keys on the bow-locked side, then they can actually rule out the possibility of Bo being in Ganon's tower. But since neither runner has checked the bow-locked side, it's only a mystery. Oh, that's right. Qairyl still hasn't gotten that 10 arrow drop from that chest. Well, he has now. He hadn't. Still got it. I love it when that guy bounces himself into the spike.
Yeah. Skullwoods is a very comedic dungeon with all of the pinball.
I want somebody to make a ROM hack where you have to trick a bunch of jellyfish into bouncing off of bumpers and knocking themselves in the holes. Like, you're not given any weapons or you're not given any way to reach them. You just have to manipulate them into offing themselves.
Sounds wholesome.
Yeah, if you're a Pedestal fan, you are hoping to see Flute or Cane of Samaria.
Qairyl with the red mail is not going to be at too much risk of damage in this fight here, but doesn't have much in the way of offensive output with the fighter sword.
Yeah, if he goes for hammer, it's only going to require 3 hits, but they're 3 very difficult to land hits. Already queuing up his green potion, he's going to go for fire rod strats. And is Glenntai doing intended ice palace right now? Or is he just checking the iced tea room first?
I know I've seen 2 items so far in Ice Palace. I don't know if we've actually seen all 3. We might have, and I'm just bad at counting. Which is, you know, counting's hard.
If you have trouble counting, just remember this mnemonic device. 1 comes before 3, comes before 7, comes after 6, comes before 13, comes after 12, comes before 6,000.
That's really insightful. I've never thought of it like that before.
You've never played Portal 2. Whoa, nice fighter sword fight from Qairyl against Mothula there. Using the sword to finish up those last couple hits that he was unable to hit with the fire rod.
I actually have played Portal 2. I just don't remember that one in particular. That game has such a joke density that they don't all sink in all the time.
Yeah, especially when they come during the final boss fight.
Yeah.
It is incorrectly noted that Thomas Edison invented push-ups. In fact, Nikola Tesla had invented the activity 2 years prior and patented under the name Tesla Size.
Here's that ped check.
Let's catch some bees and fairies. That's a bug net that I doubt the runners are gonna see.
It's the master net.
That would be the master memery right there, though. If you went out of your way to get pedestal just for the net for Agate 2. And Glenntai, I gotta say, I really admire him knowing his limits and knowing, how many potions he wants to pick up. Because using a potion might take time, but anything's faster than dying, and he knows what his conditions are and what he needs to have victory. So, really, a really smart player, understands his limitations.
Absolutely.
And is adaptive to those.
Right. We've seen both of our runners go out of their way to get the red mail. Glenntai picking up all those potions, making use of them here. And so it's nice to see that. You get to see some different strategies in these races than you might see if you watch the 5-0 races, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bumper Cave, nothing.
Yeah, one of the cool things about having a 1-4 matchup here is it's a little more accessible for new viewers and people that are newly interested in getting into Randomizer. If you spend your day watching Andy and Christos Owen and those guys, your head might explode. So, it's good to see that there are a lot of options for runners of any skill level, and really anybody can pick this game up and just play it.
Qairyl picking up his Master Sword.
Yeah, finding a different sword upgrade than the one Glenntai got. Now, Glenntai might end up, or Qairyl, either of them might end up getting the Tempered Sword in their quest for Go mode, but that remains to be seen. And now Qairyl looks like he's going to go the back way to Catfish using those flippers. And Glenntai, maybe Skull Woods, buy yourself some time to think, do Jeremiah the Frog and such forth.
Yeah, and the blacksmiths will give him the book, and Desert Palace seems as probably the only other thing we've got available. I guess we've got Pyramid Fairy too. Once Glenntai gets Skull Woods and Qairyl gets Ice Palace, they'll have Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, and a good piece of advice that I would give to runners that are just trying to improve their overall time. Glenntai is I'm assuming gonna go into Skull Woods after checking this ledge item, and I applaud him for it because it's gonna be all execution and no thinking at that point. Or okay, he's gonna get the Tempered Sword off a graveyard ledge first, but you always want to be doing something. If you have a crystal dungeon that you can be clearing, even if there aren't any items left in it, and you just need a minute to think ahead and plan your next move, doing that crystal dungeon just to buy you some free time to think is a very good strategy.
Qairyl picking up some potions for himself while Glenntai picks up that Tempered Sword.
Alright, Glenntai took the time to pick up all those hearts, which makes me think he's not going to save and quit right away.
Yep, so back into Skull Woods is a good guess. Qairyl, starting at Link's house, might be heading down. If I had a guess, I'd say he's heading into the Dark World down here, and will then check the Bombos tablet and then head into Desert. I'm already wrong. Nope, he's going to Ice. That's right, he can do Ice. Glenntai is the one who should be checking Desert once he gets his book.
And it looks like he afforded himself all the time he needed to think just by checking a couple overworld spots, so he can save Skullwoods for later. Since he does need Flute to complete this seed, he can route in Skullwoods at any point before he heads up to Turtle Rock, and that's fine. Even after Turtle Rock, if Flute turns out to be in Turtle Rock. Just don't go up to Ganon's tower before collecting that crystal. Although, once he does get the fire rod from Gary's lunchbox... Hey, you know what? That's the thing. He doesn't have fire rod yet. I get so confused.
Rando does that to you.
Hey, I have enough of a hard time keeping track of my own inventory. And shout outs again to Reg, who is keeping track of both players' inventories for us. And also to Iceman for doing the restream today. Red Mail, 14 hearts. Glenntai says goodbye.
Yep.
Ooh. Double Stalfos room. Pretty nifty strats that you can use in this room, but it's one of those situations in this game where if it starts to go wrong, it starts to go really wrong. Just like that blind fight you were mentioning earlier.
Yep. Yeah, that Stalfos strat's pretty nifty. The game only has one tracker for whether the Stalfos are up or down, so if you knock one of them down, the game considers both of them to be down, so they'll both take bomb damage. Glenntai picks up his fire rod and is continuing to the west here. We'll check the Bombos tablet and might hop into desert.
And I think he's yet to check at Gina's Cave as well. But if he goes straight in the desert, he's already got his book out, so that's pretty nifty.
Glenntai runs face first into a cactus, which doesn't hurt nearly as much as you think it might in this game.
Alright, back to the book. That tells us that Glenntai is planning on heading in the Desert Palace, which, as far as we know, is going to be the next bit of progression, be it the bow, or the red cane, or the flute, or something silly like a shovel or powder.
Yep.
Oh, there's the bow on the D's for desert, guys. That maybe could have prevented a headache if checked early. Then just goes to show that knowledge is power in the world of Randomizer.
Absolutely. You could have walked out of Sanctuary at the end of Escape and headed straight there and taken a look at that bow. That's been just sitting there, plain as day, whole seat, hour and a half already. You couldn't have gotten it, but you could have seen it.
The mighty duck just bounced off the bumper. Tried to floor Qairyl.
That's one of our 2 unique items in desert.
Yep, the other one's either going to be on the east side behind this locked door, or dropped by the man himself, Landmola. The man themselves. There's 3 of them.
Well, it's not on Landmola, but it is the flute.
And yeah, the flute confirms that book was needed to get into Desert Palace.
Yep. So, both parts of that Jeremiah sequence absolutely required. You had to return the blacksmith to get the book. You had to return the purple chest to get the fire rod. And Glenntai is going to head and get that bow right now.
Yeah, and while he's out there, probably gonna head up and finish on Desert Palace. Or he could opt to activate the flute and mirror to the Desert Palace entrance. I think since he's right there, may as well finish it up.
Well, Desert's a pendant. I think Glenntai checked, did he? The pedestal?
But he wants to meme. He wants to get the bug net.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it today. Sorry.
This will immediately open up 2 items on the left of Misery Mire and 1 in Checkerboard Cave on the right, and open up Misery Mire itself, which, from our perspective, barring Red Cane being on either of the Eastern Palace bosses, which wouldn't be very nice. What if Cane of Samaria is on that bow-locked side of Pod, even? Holy moly. So, I do think that the play would be to go into Misery Mire, after checking the overworld spots around it, go into Misery Mire, and hope that one of the 2 unique items is basically a vanilla red cane to finish the dungeon.
Yeah, I've done that in 2 of my tournament races so far. Gambled on Cane and Mire, and I was 1 for 2 on that gamble.
Oh, there you go.
Glenntai, you gonna grab some more potions? He's
Yeah,
made
one
good...
of the
Yeah.
nice use of the flute is it gives them easy access to the potion shop, and leaves himself with 6 rupees to his name, gets a blue and a red.
Glenntai, not sure if he should do Skullwoods, I'm imagining. That little wavering on the screen transition there. No? Oh, I guess Glenntai hasn't done the pedestal check. I can't imagine what else this would be.
Yeah, and he probably does want to do Skullwoods pretty soon, too. If he doesn't want to risk that red cane being inside Mire, he can at least check Pyramid Fairy first if he does Skullwoods here.
I wonder if Glenntai forgot that he had the mirror and still needed to do Skullwoods, because it would have made a little more sense to head into Skullwoods and mirror right in front of the pedestal.
He just has to know. Sometimes you just gotta know.
Yep, he felt the call of the Master Net.
The net of evil's bane.
Well, Glenntai does know that there are no more unique items in Skullwoods, so as you mentioned a little earlier, he can leave Skullwoods for as long as he wants, unless something important happens to be in that Pyramid Fairy.
Two red things, but not the red cane.
Nope.
And that chest on the right actually turns out to be an anatomically correct chest. Just like any human chest, it has a heart inside of it. Got some really nice fire rod splash damage on Cold Stare for Qairyl. Manages to fight a little more cleanly than Glenntai, so the way Randomizer kind of works is you gain time over your opponent at different points, you know, and a regular straightforward race check, you can always see who's ahead by who's in front of the other person. Well, in Randomizer, you have basically multiple different racetracks, and you can be running them in different orders. So you might do track A faster than your opponent while your opponent's doing track D, and then when you go around to getting to track D, you might do it a little more slowly than your opponent. So overall, you know, those differences across all of the different tracks are going to determine who wins the race.
Qairyl, with both of those red crystals, is going to be checking the Pyramid Fairy right now. In the vanilla game, you would normally toss your Tempered Sword and your bow into the Pyramid Fairy, and she'd hand you back the Golden Sword and the Silver Arrows. But in this game, we let the Pyramid Fairy take a vacation, and we just leave 2 chests behind in her place.
Yep. And if you really want to see her, throw an empty bottle in there. Come on, hover. Aw. That doesn't have red cane anyway. Yes, so these are some overworld items that Glenntai put off for now, hoping to find the red cane in Mire. Let's see. These are basically the last 2 options left for this item, I think, since it obviously can't be in Turtle Rock.
Glenntai grabbed the half magic from Mire.
So that's 1 item down, 1 to go in Mire. Oh, let's also not forget Helmasaur King and Armos Knights. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be, unless the final item in Mire is the red cane, it looks like we're going to have a required pendant completion.
Yep.
And there's also the Sahasrahla item if they grab that green pendant from Helmasaur King.
Yep, I think Pod's probably the call here. If you have to dip into a pendant dungeon, you know you left 2 chests on the Bowlock side. But those, I don't know. We've been
One
thinking,
of which has to be a key. But yeah, there's possibly 1 item on the Bowlock side. Possibly 1. Actually, wait. Could there... Did Bo come behind Flippers here? No, because Titan's Mitt came really early, and that's what unlocked the book. So we still don't know whether or not that big key chest has a key. Alright, it's kind of do or die for Glenntai here. It's gonna have to check the big chest, I think. Did he already do that?
I think he came from that side, so I think he did check the big chest. I think he skipped out on the big long cutscene room.
Ah.
Still haven't seen any powder, which would make this dungeon a little more bearable.
Should have done pedestal and gotten that bug knight. I think he's got a fairy from Hookshot Cave though, right? No.
Nope, he burned that fairy to get the Master Sword in Spike Cave.
Right. A worthy investment, let's be honest, but just wishes he had it there. So if anybody happens to pop into Qairyl's stream, apparently he's only showing 1 item remaining in pod as far as his personal tracking goes. We don't keep track of that on stream, but if that's the case, then It's still worth a second item for the green pendant, but yeah, wow. Kind of trolling us, Seed. Oh no. 300 rupees for Glenntai. That's going to be it. He's going to move on and grab the big key here, which is... Oh, he has the big key already.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
He should be bailing out, but he's not.
He might not remember picking up the other item in here. He did menu real quick to see if he had the map. So he's thinking map and item, whereas I believe it's going to turn out to be map and key.
So Qairyl's going to turn on his flute, and then I imagine he's going to make the same sort of call that Glenntai did, either Mire or he'll dip into those pendant dungeons. Glenntai not happy finding the map after waiting for that cutscene room.
Yeah, Qairyl has until the duck spawns to figure out what he wants to do next.
There's a lot of expression in this game. You see runners, I'll let this finish. There we go. As I was saying, you get to see a lot of expression. When you see runners pause for half a second after they open a chest and they get an item they weren't expecting, or the rage slashes, the rage pulls, the rage bombs. You manage to express yourself quite a lot in this game, despite the apparently limited range of actions you have available to you.
Yeah. So Glenntai is going to go ahead and clear up Skull Woods, realizing that that'll give him 2 chests on the pyramid. Now, I must say, from his perspective, this is absolutely the correct play. It's just that we happen to know better because Qairyl's already checked him. Or you punch the NPC in the tavern. Glenntai, I'm unsure of whether or not he picked up all the Skullwoods items.
Yeah.
Well, that'll at least save him from having to kill a Gibdo in the last room.
Yeah, and with the mirror, you don't have to walk all the way out, so it's not a terrible chest to forget about and check accidentally.
Oh boy, Qairyl is heading in the misery mire, and this will basically put Glenntai back in the lead. I think that he's going to be done with Skull Woods and checking Pyramid Fairy before Qairyl gets out of mire.
Yep, so for a little while now, both of our runners are going to be doing stuff you've seen already, so you might as well flip to their channels and throw them some follows. They've been fighting through a bit of a seed here, so why don't you go ahead and show them some appreciation. Glenntai does have the benefit of nuking the moth with half magic and tempered sword, so
Yeah.
we'll see. One of a number of strategies.
Gets his hits right, it's just going to be 3 slashes.
Qairyl is heading back into pod. I reckon the order you do this is you do the bow-locked side of pod, you kill Helmasaur, you turn in the green pendant, and then you go into Eastern if you have to after that.
Oh, Qairyl didn't go in the mire. Wow, I just completely blanked out for a second.
Yeah. Well, it'll end up being the right call.
Maybe he opened the door and thought, I can do this. And then when the door opened, he thought, I can't do this.
So if Qairyl sticks to this plan and stays in the Dark Palace, Eastern Palace area, he should have a bit of a lead. Well, he definitely has the lead now.
Yeah, there it is. The Red Cane, the Go mode. Qairyl only has Execution left and Ganon's Tower shenanigans.
Yes, but Glenntai is in the right part of the world, so if he gets his nothing from the Pyramid Fairy and heads right into Pod, this will still be a reasonably close race.
Yeah, and the sword difference could come into play here.
Absolutely. With the Master Sword, you have to use spins on Ganon. 12 in the first phase, 12 in the second phase, 4 in the third phase, and then enough spins to get 4 silver arrows into Ganon in the fourth phase.
The other thing that could come into play is that Glenntai will not have to look for the big key in Misery Mire. And aside from even Ganon, he'll have an easier time in all of Turtle Rock, especially the boss. Glenntai weighing his options here. Does he want to go for that green pendant?
Well, he's got the mirror out. He might be mirroring and then fluting. He might... Just the fact that he has the mirror out suggests that he might be heading in the area and then doing Eastern first.
I don't know. I feel like Pod would be the play first since it's 2 items, but...
Yeah, I would agree with you.
But Eastern's also fairly quick, and, you know, if you're planning on doing everything, you gotta do both anyway before going to Sahasrara if you're putting it all together. So, under the thought that, hey, I might have to do all this stuff, then maybe do Eastern first, but whatever. He went into Pod. He's good. Already equips the bow. Oh, he's gonna go to the boss first. Or, okay. Played us all for chumps. Forgot you could move that statue.
Yeah, gotta keep us guessing. So yeah, Glenntai is not going to be all too far behind. He'll get the... Oh,
That's weird. Oh, I think this is a graphical error. Wait, what?
No, I think he was dashing like immediately. I don't know. That's a weird glitch.
Just when you thought you'd seen them all.
So this is a seed where the use of the potion glitch to get to the right side of Pod would have made a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. Alright, Glenntai looks around for that mirror now as he realizes he has entered go mode. And Qairyl's still looking for that big key in Misery Mire. Once Glenntai enters, we'll say, the stairs that lead down to the dark area of Misery Mire, that's really going to be the convergence point. Where Qairyl found the big key. Consulting his GPS.
Qairyl getting a little bit lost, showing us some rooms we don't often see in Misery Mire.
Yeah, he's gonna go over to the fish room and get a key.
Yeah, look at that. Must have burned a key on... No, he can... He should be able to do... Yeah. You get to see the fish room, everybody.
Yep. See the little wall at the top looks like fish bones. So maybe he erroneously thought he would need a small key downstairs.
Yep, you need a small key in Pod, but not here in Misery Mire to get to the boss in the basement.
So, Qairyl is going to get downstairs first. One little tiny bit of time difference is that Qairyl will have to hit the crystal. Or, no, he didn't hit the crystal in the fish room, so he's good too. Alright, so yeah. He enters the dark room of Mire a little bit ahead of Glenntai, so Glenntai really just maybe a room. Yeah, exactly one room behind now, but one sword ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be on the order of seconds worth of difference. It looks like 12 or 15 seconds.
Oops, I think Qairyl, yep. I think Qairyl actually just pushed the switch against himself. A little bit of muscle memory there. If you full clear the west side of the dungeon, you'll have to hit this crystal, but... And whoop. They're synced up now. Glenntai just switched to bombs a little bit earlier, but...
Yeah, we're going to have a straight-out execution race from here to the end. Maybe a little bit of Ganon's Tower big key shenanigans in play, but for the most part, we're going to see execution, and that sword difference might play a role.
Yep. And a small key gamble in Turtle Rock could come into play as well, whether the runners decide to skip the big chest. I figured this out at one point. It's basically you basically have, I think it was like, it turned out to be like a 75% chance that you don't need the big key. Or so, I can't remember what exactly it was. So, in order, if you have the big key, going into the pokey room to get the poke key, and dash strats with Master Sword aren't going to be too great, but with half magic, you might outlast the defenses of Vitreous here.
Yeah, but silver arrows are the way to go here. Qairyl, silver arrows. Please.
Silver arrows are generally the way to go. Unless you're going the meme route. So if you steal the pokey key, you have big chest, pipe chest, crystal roller chest, and 4 on laser bridge. So you have 7 chests. If the 2 keys happen to be on pipe and the big key chest, then you actually have to route to the big key chest. Otherwise, you can grab a key from one of the other 5 chests. So it's 7, choose 2. 7 times... Oh, so it actually turns out... Okay, so it's 7, choose 2, which is 7 times 6 divided by 2. So it's 21 combinations that would require the big chest out of 7 factorial?
I will get back to you on that.
Which would be 2, 4, 5, 6. There's no way it's that low.
But both of our runners are heading into Turtle Rock. Maybe
it's just 1 out of 42.
We're talking about whether the big chest is required if it has a small key in it?
Yeah, but in order for that to happen, you have to have a non-vanilla big key as well.
Yeah.
At any rate, it's a pretty big risk because it's a big time loss if you do have to go back to the big chest. But it's just fun to do the math sometimes. Trust me.
Yeah, so it's still just about 15 seconds of difference between these two. As we mentioned way early on, these later rounds really get opponents well matched with each other, and you're seeing that right now.
Ooh, nice little poof, the cape.
Yep, Qairyl picking up a few seconds there with a slightly cleaner roller room. Chat, if you guys are Qairyl fans, you're hoping for a sword upgrade to be on the path here, because a upgrade from Master to Tempered is a much bigger deal than an upgrade from Tempered to Golden at this point in the game.
Yeah, no other safeties really. 4 bottles found. As far as item distribution goes, that is the one thing that'll help Qairyl way more than Glenntai. And the other kind of X factor here is key distribution and player decisions regarding keys, both in Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower. And if a player feels like he's behind, then they might opt to go for a more risky key layout strat.
It looks to me like Qairyl skipped the key from the pokey.
Did he even get the big key?
I...
Glenntai used his small key from the pokey to get a map.
Yeah, so he will...
So they're kind of equivalent in key count right now, but
yeah.
Qairyl's just ahead geographically.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Whoops.
Yeah, they have to have the big key at this point.
Yeah, fortunately for Qairyl, that key that he skipped is going to turn out to be not required. Maybe Glenntai wanted to find powder or butter sword and thought it worth going a little out of the way for it.
So, just like that, Qairyls now in the lead. Qairyl is opting to take this safety door here. Another great example of our runners knowing their limitations. If you die on Laser Bridge or the Trinix, you'll respawn right here, nice and close.
Yeah, never hurts to know where your safeties are. And he gets the key out of the first chest here. Let's see if he decides to check the remaining ones for that sword upgrade you were mentioning. And even a piece of heart given a life refill would be welcome for him. Looks like, well, he's got half magic, so he might be more comfortable with sword swings on Trinex, or we might see some low percent strats where you switch over to the hammer to get the hit zone on the frozen heads. The stunned heads, I should say. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Qairyl does still have that fairy that they picked up in the hookshot cave.
Yeah, I don't recall Qairyl taking a death and using a fairy.
Oop. Okay, he's gonna use just Master Sword Swing, so you, if you're not gonna kill him fast, you always want to kill the ice head first, otherwise he will spit ice onto the carpet and cause a whole bunch of lag, not to mention impede your movement. Oh my god, the mini Helmasaur blocked both of the Samaria particles for Glenntai. That was unfortunate. We'll see him have a little chance to catch up here against Helmasaur.
Yep. If Glenntai opts to use hammer strats, that first phase of the fight will go a little faster.
Well, he's got the tempered sword. That's the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's the big factor.
That's the big factor. I gotcha.
No problem. One thing about being a cross product is I know about factors. Already on the final phase for Glenntai here, and he's gonna get right up in his face and try to get a double hit with a spin attack. I think he might have done it, but he took a little hit to the face in the meantime. Alright, finishing up the fight mere seconds behind his opponent, Qairyl. So, yeah, if you thought that he was going to gain some time on Trinex by having that tempered sword, well, just wait till they get to Ganon.
So, we're not on speed gaming, so we can't start up that nifty little bot. But there is a game we like to play here in the Link to the Past randomizer community at this point. Cross Product, you want to tell our audience about it?
Yeah, so in Ganon's Tower, there are 22 possible locations for the big key. And so we like to play a little guessing game, pick a number between 1 and 22 to see which number location. And if the paths diverge, it's going to be hard to keep track, but we'll do our best. So pick a number between 1 and 22. I personally like big key in the fire bar room, which for the standard route would be chest number 8.
That sounds nice. I'm gonna go.
32, Qairyl enters Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, we'll use Qairyll's numbers for the game since he entered first. I'm gonna go with 18 today. I've been having good luck with 18 and 16 as of late.
So that's an 8-second lead for Qairyl at this point.
Qairyl is opting to go with the right side here. Gets a key early.
Doesn't even do the fun tile room.
Yeah, fun tile room.
Oh, he's going to be short on fuse with that fire on the top torch here. Let's see what he's got. Door doesn't open. He's got to redo the room. But there's a magic refill here, so it's already got all the blocks in the spots that he wants them, so it shouldn't be too bad. And Glenntai taking the same route. And ooh, actually passes him. That's a really nice execution to the torch room.
Qairyl using bombs rather than the Cane of Samaria on that switch there, so Glenntai maintaining a slim lead.
And a nice sense of humor kicking that block over the rail. Okay, so that was chest number 6. No big key yet. And Glenntai didn't pick up a small key after the teleporter, and Qairyl will. We'll see if this comes into play later on.
Yeah, there's a possibility. You need to carry at least one key up the tower with you to guarantee that you can complete it. There's 2 locked doors, but only 1 guaranteed key up there. No, you definitely don't want to save and quit, Qairyl.
Seven, 8, 9, 10 arrows capacity. Oops. Oh, that cheeky spike. Oh yeah, we forgot to count the torch, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. $13 for the snack room.
So we're about to see the randomizer room on Glentai's side, so named because you will only ever see it in a randomizer race. It's got absolutely nothing of value in the vanilla game.
Or a 100% all chest run. Alright, we are up to 17, folks. Oops. Got a little zealous with that spit. That was amazing. I think he must have hit the crystal jellyfish.
Yeah, I think he got
sword spin
he got
was
the
just-
rebound from the spin.
That was a treat.
Absolutely going for the swag there. You can just take a bonk to cross over that. Glenntai doing a bonk of his own to get across the gap there. Say hi to our pal Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Oh, blue cane. If Qairyl gets that, maybe like Jack Spike Cave. I got a sword. Probably not.
Glenntai taking care of Ice Armos here. This is the only Armos fight you're going to see in this seed, so you better enjoy it while it lasts.
Who guessed tile room?
Yep. Does not matter which runner you track. It's going to be 22 on both sides.
Good old 22.
We did get the powder. That's a nice safety. You can powder some anti-fairies and bunny beams on the way up.
Yeah.
Qairyl is going for a walk instead of mirroring out. There are some fairies to the north here. No, he's just gonna walk over to tile room.
Yeah, he's got the extra key too. He wants it. There could be a sword in there.
Other way, Qairyl. With the cape, Glenntai and Qairyl can use the cape pole strat. If you turn on the cape and grab onto a wall, it won't use magic, which comes in handy here in Tile Room.
How does it work?
I don't know. I think the game just doesn't know what it's doing because it's a very well-programmed game.
So you're saying it's magic?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So it looks like neither runner actually will need that small key beyond the teleporter on the right side, so good job on Glenntai skipping it.
We had a bit of a discussion in chat. How much time do you save bonking over the warps? I know if you take a look at the Link to the Past NMG speedrunning community, they have room times down to the frame, so you can get that data. It's definitely out there.
Yeah, as far as the exact time, maybe 5 seconds. It basically saves you the time of 2 teleports minus the time of a bonk.
So both of our runners are going to be on the way up the gauntlet.
Yeah, another part of the game where the tempered sword is going to come in handy, taking on those red fire-breathing dragon knights.
Glenntai going to be coming up to Landmo 2 soon. Is going to opt to powder this bunny beam and restore some health. That will throw off the spawning of the Landmos in this room. We'll see how Glenntai handles it.
Ooh, almost manages to kill 2 heads in the first round.
Yeah, doesn't get any in the second round there. You can't shoot an arrow while one is already on the screen, so Glenntai tried his best, but just couldn't get off one arrow in the second phase. But the Landmos are down.
Yeah, I like to just count to 5, with each number being like a different animation sprite. Cause you know how like the little sand pile gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So whatever time it takes for the sand pile to go up to the next size, that's 1, and I count to 5 and shoot on 5. Got a nice 2 cycle in the Wizrow belt room.
Yep, well, Qairyl got a fairy from his bunny beam. Glenntai a little low on magic. He's going to use the lamp to light these torches here.
Yeah, 2 little magic jars he can pick up here, so he'll be able to save his potion and get a full magic refill in the next room.
Qairyl with a slightly cleaner Landmola 2 fight.
Okay, you're alright, Glenn. Oh, he's got a green potion, so we're probably not going to have any opportunity to use that after this room. And it'll save him from throwing off his timing in the eyeball laser room.
So there's 4 chests in between here and the end of the tower, and Glenntai is not taking either of these 2. We might see Qairyl check them, hoping for a sword upgrade.
Mm-hmm. And this There's a pretty good chance one of them's got a sword, honestly.
Yeah, we've seen a whole
Unless
lot.
there's a sword on that Sahasrahla or something.
Yeah, Glenntai gets the blue boomerang in the second to last chest of the game.
That's funny. Usually it's the second to first chest. If you skip, like, if you don't count Uncle and you skip the one, Basically, the second thing you would actually pick up in an NMG run. You get the sword first, and then you... whatever. It's at the other end of the game.
Yeah, counting is hard.
The map.
Now we know where Aghanim is.
Now we know if it's a crystal or a dungeon or a pendant. So no swords for Qairyl, unfortunately. He's gonna have to do Master Sword spin attacks to complete this game.
The 3 swords we know of were in the chest right next to Uncle, the Spike Cave, and the Graveyard Ledge?
Yep, Graveyard Mirror Ledge, that's right.
Was that a triple from Glenntai?
What a trip.
Doesn't get any there. Now, the first one didn't count as a triple since that took 2.
Yep. The boss picking up some player strats and using iframes to... Wow, he does not like that corpse. Showing just a little bit of anxiety here. Not really sure where his opponent is. Since it's a randomizer, the runners aren't allowed to get clues, so they're not allowed to watch each other's streams or listen to the commentary. So they've got no idea where their opponents are. And if they're looking at the race screen, they're just staring at it, wondering when that dot-dum is going to come.
Glenntai needs to slash Ganon 12 times to get him out of the first phase. Qairyl is going to have to pull off 12 spin attacks to do the same. With half magic, Glenntai could be using Cape here, but he's through the first 2 phases. Meanwhile, the Geometry Wizard goes down on Qairyl's side. He's showing the corpse a little bit more respect.
Alright, it's going to require 4 silver arrow hits from Glenntai here. 1 down, 1 more, 2 to go.
This could be a double. No, he's letting Ganon get away.
It doesn't go for it. He doesn't want to get knocked into the hole. That's the absolute last thing you want to see.
Meanwhile, Qairyl starts his Master Sword fight. He has to get spins in, while Glenntai puts the last arrow into Ganon. Get your GGs in chats. Glenntai has finished this race with an official speedracing.tv time of 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 19 seconds.
Got him!
Meanwhile, Qairyl's doing a great job taking out Ganon with the Master Sword. Into the second phase already. Doesn't have any blue potion, has a green and a fairy. I think with a green and a fairy, magic cape struts might be in order.
Glenntai apparently going to AFK and taking a deep breath, maybe pacing around the room before even going through the Triforce text. Definitely wants to take a breather after that harrowing seed.
Oh no, Qairyl takes a hit here. Does have a fairy, we saw that in his inventory. And Qairyl has entered into the third phase of the Ganon fight. Did you find the arrows in the light world? Yes, we did. They were in the chest in our house.
They'll never look here. How did you find them? They were so well hidden.
Oh no! Qairyl takes an unfortunate fall in the final phase of Ganon. That is heartbreaking. Bonks this tree. There is a fairy here, which we can't catch because we don't have the bug net, because we didn't pull the pedestal. And that fight was going real well, too. If Qairyl feels like sandwiching himself between Ganon and the wall, not that that sounds very pleasant, he can get off double spins, make it go a little faster. And the surprise net sleeps again forever.
Surprise net.
I don't know if I've ever seen a net pedestal before.
Nedestal?
This is a great place if you wedge yourself in the corner behind Ganon. Qairyl's not going for it, but you can get off a bunch of double spins there.
And welcome to tonight's winner, Glenntai. Congratulations on that run, finishing under 2.5 hours.
Hey, Cross, thank you very much.
Clearing almost everything in the game. How's that?
What the heck was this clown fiesta of a seed? Oh my god. It really was a clown fiesta. What was that? A required
Clown fiasco, I would say.
You're not wrong. Oh, what was that? A required double dip into a pendant pod? If I'm not mistaken.
Ish.
Like, if nothing else, the way I did it was, and that was unfortunate. Thieves Town will forever be my bane of existence.
I mean, if you had technically known to go straight to blacksmith to get the book after getting Gold Glove, yeah.
And you know, that's the thing. I sat there thinking about doing that, and I just went, you know what? No, I've gotten burnt like that in the past, and then I'd be super behind. Nope, probably. Yep, that's exactly what I should have done. Great. Oh, but hey, I'm actually surprised I won because of how much spaghettiing I did throughout all of that. But hey, what can I say? I'm glad that was a thing.
I was really glad that your determination going back into Thieves Town to take out Blind really paid off. That was a huge find with the hook shot.
Oh yeah, it was. I first actually got tipped off on that when I lost so much that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Hype Cave. Let's see what happens. That's when I picked up Lantern and went, oh no, it really does want me to go into the mountain next. I need to see if there's anything over in Thieves Town.
Right.
So I just ponied up, went in with a potion, swallowed my pride along with the potion, and then that hookshot happened.
Yeah, that hookshot was huge. Another thing that really helped you out was you sequence broke your way to a sword upgrade in Spike Cave. And Qairyl never got that. Qairyll's on the way to a third match with Master Sword Ganon, I think.
Oh no. Oh no, that is my empathy to him. That is...
Yeah, you two were going... You were just about a room or two apart for pretty much Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. You picked up a little bit in Ganon's Tower, but it was really that Tempered Sword that is giving you the lead that you're going to end up seeing in a few minutes when Qairyl finishes.
Man, that is... Wow. Well, I guess I can say I was pretty happy with that then, because I was a little relieved when I found that, because the first thing I thought was, technically they gave me a potion, you know, I should use that, and then I did. Actually, no, they gave me a fairy, rather. So I did, and that's when I was just like, oh, maybe I was supposed to do this. Maybe this was right here in the logic after all.
Yeah, that you did not have logical access to Spike Cave at that point. You need one of the invincibility items.
Yeah, I should have thought of it that way. Actually, no, I'm glad I didn't, because that might have, as you said, given me the entire advantage.
Yep.
Man, that seed. You know, for the longest time, I was walking around going, okay, there's an item on pedestal. When the way this is laid out, with what I picked up so far, there's some item on pedestal. It's a Y item. I really hope it's not something I need. I went to check it, and it was the swag net. Whew, relief.
Yep. Master Net.
Master net. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm a little frazzled. Word of the wise, never run in a tournament race after 3 anxiety attacks. I assure you, it's not for the faint of heart. Yeah, today was a bad day. But hey, it turned out okay in the end, I guess, so why not?
Yeah, had some fun, I hope, and got a little W in your win column there to add to your trophy shelf.
Finally, one more instead of me tilting and then hardware messing up. Oof. Yeah, this tournament I thought I could have done better, but what are you gonna do?
Join the next one. That's what you can do.
Yeah, that and race, because I know our mutual friend Cross Esh wants to do some races as well, and I'm just like, hey, sure, why not?
Ah, is she around?
I saw her in chat, so
Nice.
yeah, definitely. Where is Qairyl at the moment?
Qairyl is on the 3rd phase of Ganon with the Master Sword.
Again?
He took
Oh.
2 deaths, and he took a fall and a death. That's what he did.
Oh no. Man, that is rough.
Yep, he's sticking with it. He's setting up the torch glitch, gets it right here.
You know, it's funny. That entire Ganon's Tower run, the last time I felt I was even remotely close to having a chance of winning, I gambled just right off the bat tile room because I had a key and, you know, what are the odds? This seed was trolling me enough. Then it turns out I lost because I went there first and then ran out of arrows. That also definitely did not help. But nonetheless, this time I'm like, you know what? 2 in a row? Nah, I'm just gonna do this side of the dungeon. Oh no, maybe it's on the left. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Qairyl pulls off a silverless hit. Not that that's really going to help him too much. But he gets the last arrow into Ganon just after that.
Oh, it's a neat looking sprite.
And Qairyl has taken down Ganon with an official speedracing.tv time of 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 45 seconds.
Oh, GG. That is that was not a that was I'm stuttering now, but basically, wow, that seed. That clown fiesta. That clown fiasco. I like that addition.
I never heard the term clown fiesta either, so it's fine. We both learned something.
It's one of those things that's supposed to be a mess, like another 2 words that start with C and F. That
Oh, like
definitely,
Ben
yeah.
and Jerry's Cluster Fluff Ice Cream.
Yeah.
Charlie Foxtrot, as the aviators say.
Yeah, but the idea of clown fiesta also gives a great image of just a complete and utter mess. And ever since I thought of that, I was just, that mental image though, a clown fiesta. I want to see that. It also just makes you laugh when you say it.
Alright, let's see if we can get Qairyl in here for an interview. Let me check the schedule real quick and see what's coming up here. So looks like that's the last race for this channel tonight, unless they decide to put on the 9 o'clock race between Parisian Player and Lava and Firestorm. I'm just gonna refresh here. So yeah, there is as yet one undecided race. We do have a race coming up in 20 minutes between Leslie Pro 04 and Catastrophe, and that's going to be a really nice commentary duo with Big John and Raikou Rider. That's going to be on the primary Speed Gaming channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, again in 20 minutes. And we do currently have going on 80 versus Argyle XD. Not sure if that's restreamed, and Hayo24 versus Chloe Power on Speed Gaming 5. That just started 10 minutes ago.
Yep, as we've been mentioning all day, all these round 6 matches feature some pretty close matchups. You saw today that our runners were nice and close for quite a while, so go and catch some more rando if you have the time.
Besides, you can easily bet it's not going to be the same thing twice.
Let's see if we can't get in touch with Qairyl to share a word or two with us.
Oh, cool. They're in the waiting room. Should I pull them over?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and grab Qairyl.
All right.
We are joined by Qairyl. Hi, Qairyl. GG.
GG. What a run that was.
That was definitely a seed.
GG and yeah, agreed.
So, Qairyl, the thing that's on my mind because it just happened most recently was Master Sword Ganon. How'd you find that?
That was the first time I've ever done it.
Well, you pulled it off. You had a bit of a roughness there. You took a fall. You had to grab some potions, but you did it. Your opponent sequence broke to a sword upgrade in Spike Cave. So your opponent had one sword up on you, but we didn't know where the other sword was.
When I went up to T-Rock, I kept thinking maybe I should go hit up Spike Cave just to see what's there. But I figured, no, I'm already in go mode. Why bother?
Well,
Whoops.
yeah. Well, we
Yes,
certainly,
indeed.
we certainly appreciated watching the persistence that you had there. You pulled it off.
If it makes you feel any better, I actually sequence broke my by mistake because I saw that I had a fairy and a ball and went, oh, that means I can do Spike Cave. It's in the logic. And it wasn't even for the next 40 minutes, but you know.
I didn't even think about that.
I've gotten burnt way too many times by things like Spike Cave and the cave behind the grave, so now I'm just always careful of it.
Now that you're both here, let me ask you this question: are either of you familiar with the recently discovered potion glitch in Pod?
I'm familiar with it. I've seen Cross do it on his stream. I've yet to actually practice it.
I've never heard of it before.
Well, neither of you pulled it off, but this is certainly a seed where it would have come in handy because both of you ended up grabbing the Cane of Samari as your go mode item. That potion glitch would have let you grab that cane the first time you were in Pod. I know you both had a potion because you got a bottle of green goo from the sick kid.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Oh, okay. Now I need to practice this because that would have saved me so much time.
It would have saved both of you time, but neither of you did it this race.
Indeed, but still, good to keep that in mind for future races.
So, what exactly is this?
So you can look on the main randomizer Discord or on the tournament Discord, but effectively in the room in Pod with the Barry, the jellyfish, if you walk to the left and use a potion, you unhinge the camera from where it should be, and then you can grab the wall in the mimic room and just walk all the mimics off screen. And if the mimics aren't on the screen, the game doesn't have object persistence. Like a newborn child, it forgets that they exist and opens the door as if they were dead. And so you can get those two chests on the bow lock side of Pod without the bow, and that normally doesn't make a huge difference, but in this seed that would have made a tremendous difference. I know Glenntai, you did a double dip in Mire because you went in before you got the cane.
Oh yeah, I was at that point really banking on it not being in a pendant dungeon, and I was just going, come on vanilla. Nope. Go figure. Technically would have had Godmire if I ended up going further into Pod, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you would have needed that glitch to get it since it was locked behind the bow. So
Yeah.
Anyway, cross product. Do you have any more questions for our runners here?
Nah, just excited to watch these runners continue on and do their final races next week and watching their individual streams and just hanging out with them. I know Glenntai somewhat personally, and I'm sure that that Qairyl, as being part of the random community, is also a really chill fella. So look forward to hanging out with you guys and just doing some rando and having some fun in the future.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks to you two for running. If you like what you've seen today, you can throw both of these runners a follow. They've done a great job. I'd also like to thank our tracker Reg, who's been keeping track of quite a lengthy race, quite a tricky race. So, big shout out to Reg, and our restreamer today is Iceman F1, who's done a fantastic job keeping all of our tech behind the scenes working, getting our streams, getting all the audio working just fine. So, big shout outs to them.
And furthermore, might I also just not only further that sentiment, but also give a lot of credit to the people that are commentating, because it really does give a lot more of either an entertainment value or an in-depth analysis to anyone that's not familiar with the randomizer, and it keeps it going and makes it even more interesting as I've seen it. So thank you both for continuing on with making it an awesome race.
Oh, thank you for your kind words.
Hey, anytime. Also, question: was that wasn't one of your puns this time, right?
I actually missed it. I saw you leaving the tavern, and I was like,
It was
"Oh,
very,
poo."
it was very much a dad joke.
The general rule is if the pun in some way involves the name of a Zelda enemy, then I wrote it.
Gotcha. Okay, then no, this one was not. Okay, fake cross. I saw fake crossed this time.
You got double crossed.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Well, unless anyone has anything else to say, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me, Cross Product.
What if somebody has to say that it wasn't fun? Glenntai, what are your thoughts?
My
no, yeah, it was a blast. I appreciate everybody for sticking around. Definitely follow the runners, and appreciate the behind-the-scenes work, the tracking from Reg, and the restream from Iceman. Be sure to follow all the ALTTP randomizer channels, as well as the Speed Game Network, since they've been supporting the tournament and restreaming a lot of our races as well. And I guess with that, I will give Firewood King the final word and sign us off here.
Thank you for that, Cross Product. I've been Firewood King. It's been a blast. See you next race.